Over 250 workers of the Cameroon airline company, Camerco, have been laid off by management. According to an official release from the company, Camerco opted to send off the over 250 workers on technical leave to reduce the negative financial impact imposed on the company by the coronavirus pandemic. Camerco says the objective is to avoid accumulating salary-related debts for a company which ceased operations since April 2020, and also to limit the spread of COVID-19 among the staff. The decision takes effect as of June 22, 2020. One person died and several others were injured in a traffic accident yesterday in Penja, Mungo Division. The accident was a collision between a private vehicle with a policeman as the driver and a heavy truck. The main reason for the accident was blamed on overspeeding of both vehicles. Latest statistics show that coronavirus cases in Cameroon are on a constant increase. As of today, the total number of cases confirmed positive stand at 11,898, including over 282 positives tested in the last 24 hours, 303 deaths, and 7,710 totally cured. These figures were published by the Ministry of Public Health. It continues to reiterate calls for the respect of preventive measures as proposed by the World Health Organization. Cholera epidemic strikes in the town of Kribi, South Region. 4 deaths due to the epidemic have already been reported, with 42 cases confirmed to be suffering from the disease. Out of the 42 reported cases, 20 are Cameroonian fishermen and 9 Nigerians. The first case of cholera was detected on May 13, 2020. Cameroonian refugees in the Federal Republic of Nigeria decry the horrible conditions in which they find themselves. The refugees, who have largely laid the blame on the government of Cameroon, say the government has left them to die of hunger and misery after forcing them, through an armed conflict with separatist fighters, to flee away from their villages into Nigeria. Inhabitants of the Daodoundu neighborhood of Mara 2 subdivision say they want the head of Dr. Sani Babani, mayor of the city of Mara, for destroying their shops. In a riot demonstration in Mara June 22, 2020, the individuals, predominantly traders, marched to the mayor's office to teach him what they say was a bitter lesson. Armed for a bloody confrontation, they will later be convinced to embrace calm by the DO for Mara 2 subdivision. They accuse the mayor of demolishing their shops without prior notification. At least 3 persons perished in an accident in Baa and Dagra village situated some 50 kilometers from Ngaudir, chief town of the Adamawa region of Cameroon, Monday morning, June 22, 2020. Local sources say the accident occurred at the Mbe cliff when a lorry transporting food to the north region of Cameroon lost control and fell into the ravine. Immediately inside the ravine, the truck caught fire, burning the driver beyond recognition. Locals say the 3 other persons who were on board fell out before the lorry landed into the 100 meters deep ravine. The national coordinator of the Presidential Plan for the Reconstruction and Development, PPRD, of the war-ravaged Anglophone Northwest and Southwest regions of Cameroon, Paul Tassong, has asked the population of the Northwest region to embrace the reconstruction and development agenda of the head of state as a pathway to peace. Speaking at the Mindpat Hall in Bamenda Monday, June 22, Paul Tassong said reconstruction is a pathway to peace, which will be done gradually from the secured areas to the most volatile areas. To the Anglophone elite and minister, the people of the NW and SW regions should not live on assistance forever. He thinks reconstruction can well be effective without a ceasefire. While the sensitization caravan of the Presidential Plan for the Reconstruction and Development of the Northwest and Southwest regions kick-started their campaign in Bamenda on June 22, 2020, separatists announced 3-day lockdown had a better side of the city. In several neighborhoods like Nkobo, T-Junction, and Back Travelers, streets were deserted with businesses grounded. In a global campaign for peace and justice in Cameroon, the laureates and ex-presidents advised the government to end all forms of violence in the 2 troubled regions and concentrate on fighting the coronavirus and stamping it out of the continent as a whole. Some of the dignitaries include Nobel Prize winner Dr. Denis Mukwege, former South African President Han F. W. de Klerk, and former president of Chile Juan Ricardo Lagos amongst others. They call on the government of Cameroon and the Anglophone militia to call for a humanitarian ceasefire, echoing the UN's global ceasefire call, made by the Secretary-General, Antonio Guterres. The global campaign for peace and justice in Cameroon has equally challenged international bodies to use their tools and their strengths to make sure that peace returns to Cameroon. Anglophone community at Kandengui prison in Yaoundé has written to the Minister of Justice and Keeper of the Seal demanding to see their brother Ido Henry. To the latter, Ido Henry disappeared from the prison on Thursday, June 18, 2020 while in a poor health state. Today, June 22, marks 100 days since city mayors were elected by councillors. After 100 days, Cameroonians say they are still to see remarkable development changes because of a change from appointed government delegates to elected city mayors. Dr. Sango Martin Ndé has been dismissed as a lecturer at the University of Bia in the southwest region of Cameroon. In a presidential decree signed Monday, June 22, 2020, the lecturer at the Faculty of Arts is said to have attempted to disrupt the smooth organization of recit examination during the 2018/2019 school year. It is said that he did not set the exams in observance of a strike called by Sins UB. Bamenda City Mayor demands the construction of Bamenda/Bafoussam Road, a football stadium and the payment of teachers of private schools in the region. Paul Ekobong told Paul Tassong, chairman of the reconstruction plan for the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. In the same line, the mayor of Bafoussam is demanding that reconstruction starts in schools. There are questions if the reconstruction of the Anglophone regions of Cameroon will be a reality. Separatist fighters have vowed to frustrate the move by the government of Cameroon. To some inhabitants, insecurity is still the order of the day and nothing as reconstruction can take place. The chairman of the reconstruction plan, Paul Tassong, says the project will start in places where there is relative security. He was speaking today in Bamenda at the start of a 5-day sensitization tour to explain the necessity of the project. Senator Henry Comment has questioned government's silence over the non-operation of courts and other judicial services in some divisions in the northwest region. To him, judges in affected divisions are today hawking justice in the city of Bamenda where they have taken refuge. Political commentators think separatists have registered a success by putting in place their local courts after chasing away government workers. There have been systematic violation of human rights in Cameroon in the process of fighting against coronavirus pandemic. According to Kevin Timothy of UNICEF, some security forces by arresting Cameroonians for not wearing face masks violate their rights and can even increase the rate of contamination. He suggests that people be forced to wear face masks and not arrested. Ivory Coast's defense minister says a senior jihadist who led an attack against the military earlier this month has been captured. Hamed Bakayoko said a large number of other militants had also been arrested in connection with the assault on the border post in which at least 10 soldiers were killed. Protesters in Tunisia, angry at high levels of unemployment, have clashed with police for a second day in the southern city of Tétouan. The demonstrators are demanding that the government fulfills a promise that jobs would be created in the region. Its unemployment rate is 30%, one of the worst in Tunisia. Somalia's lower house of parliament has passed legislation that gives women 30% of seats in both parliamentary chambers. The lower house has a total of 274 seats while the upper house has 54 seats. Women have been complaining of underrepresentation in the country's politics. At least 10 people have been killed by cattle rustlers in the northwestern Nigerian state of Zamfara. Villagers said dozens of armed men arrived on motorbikes, shooting dead members of a vigilante group set up to guard the area. The World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that the coronavirus pandemic is still accelerating, and that its economic and other effects would be felt for decades to come. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus complained of a lack of global solidarity and leadership in the crisis. The wife of the late Ethiopian army chief, who was shot dead a year ago today, has said she has failed in her efforts to meet Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in order to be updated on the state of the investigation into her husband's killing that shocked the country. Her husband, Jensir Mikanen, was reportedly assassinated by his bodyguard as part of a plot to seize power in Amhara regional state in northern Ethiopia. The chairman of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki Mahamat, has urged President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta and opposition groups to work together to end the political crisis in the West African country. Opposition groups are calling for President Keïta to resign because of escalating jihadist and intercommunal violence in the country.